college, and most of the material we dey use English law material dem. So I think am fit say maybe if we get an intellectual property law book na Sierra Leone, we customize for Sierra Leone, they go bring out the issues them we they affect Sierra Leone on intellectual property law.
And more so when it comes to the law profession, people only they say Sierra Leoneans they know the rights. So waiting now that gap day or now that thing that we people and they talk about. Now one of the things that also will give the inspiration for write this book.
Yes, I agree with you. Lawyers in Sierra Leone, we day in day out practice now for go to court, do cases, and do cases. In other words, we dey limit we practice of the law to the courtroom. Um, I agree with you and on that. And further inspiration to that, one day I travel go Abuja, and I happen for visit one gun shop day. As you say, most of the books, because I be dey look for law books them for buy, most of the law books them we I see na books them when a Nigerian lawyers them write them. So myself begin think say, yeah, I think say we na Sierra Leone we need for develop with practice from the academic point of view, not only the practice aspect of it. So yes, I agree with you. Say lawyers them we they consume with time more on litigation, go to court, come back na chambers, and we need for diversify and go into other areas of the practice of the law.
So
We
so before we go um before we go to the content, waiting really they inside this book. Make we look at you talk about the Sierra Leonean context because some of the cases them way lawyers and they use na English
English
cases
cases,
them
yeah.
or cases we analogous to illegal practice. So this book you get case law them way tailored towards Sierra Leone.
Yes, yes, it get so many cases then. It depend on the topic who they deal with. We they look at the laws them, the cases then we regulate, even we practice na Sierra Leone. And one of the cases then Adrian Fisher versus General Legal Counsel. Adrian Fisher, when a judge now, I look at that case day, how from the perspective of how the 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 general legal counsel they regulate the coming in into practice of the law, the staying and the exit of the profession. And I look at also the case of Ibrahim Suri versus the General Legal Council. We regulate how people then they be members, lawyers and they be members of the General Legal Council. All some of them cases then they. Then I look at cases them we border around the actual intellectual property law. For instance, I look at this very recent case, the money necessary case between the issue between the two artists, them Legacy Boy and Sweeter Boy. You name them, a few of them, then did it. A lot of them did it.
So um looking at Sierra Leone when it comes to material, it's very difficult. You don't write this book. So how you been talek for galvanized materials then?
Well, now research, you when you determine for deliver in terms of writing a book, you get for do a lot of research. Let me just say this: intellectual property law, na everyday issue, even on a brand name 98.1. Now, intellectual property law related, a border around trademark. Even on a content we una dey produce now, even this kotus. Now, a content where una decide for design, where if somebody infringe or thief on a content, use them without una authorization, it don't violate on intellectual property rights issue. So many cases then they will look at when a Sierra Leonean cases.
Somebody go say this record owes they not register, but we dey trust the user. But now we get a name. So if it's any media house go take courthouse, we can able sue am.
Well, in terms of the content, it border around copyright and it also border around trademark. But now more of copyright content. Copyright content, you no need for register 'em. You, if you want for register 'em, yes, you can register them with the Office of the Administrator and Registrar General. But if you know want for register your content in this COTOS, once you get evidence of the weekly weekly Tuesday in, Tuesday out production, and if somebody they use them, you can get right for caution the person say, hey, Kotos now we name, now we they use them. Now for stop. If you not stop, we go take social action against you. Either you wanna go talk to them on yourself or wanna meet somebody with an intellectual property law expert for take up that issue. They for prove evidence, say when I don't caution the person, let them write them on a keep on a file. But if you continue that, continued violation, we can take action.
So how legal practitioners in Sierra Leone appreciate your book?
Well, first of all, the book now come out in mass production yet, but when we float them, na Sierra Leone writers sees, na them publish them, na them intend for mass produce them. When they put the flyer out, I get a lot of feedback. I get a lot of me WhatsApp and my phone generally be inundated with calls. People they ask me about the book, waiting at the cost, when you the mass produce them, how we will get a copy and all of that. So the reaction was massive, positively.
So when because as you say, lawyers there now don't they ask you plenty question. So about this book here. So when you send for mass producer,
Well, me and the publishers, Sierra Leonean Writer Series, we're in discussion. But I sure say this month of August, not they done, we they do mass production and the book go dey out for sale.
so how you students them don't they appreciate this book?
Now a very good question. My students them appreciate them. I not go talk for my students them, but them actually know the stuff we are the pass on in terms of intellectual property law in Sierra Leone. And most of them they say if this book come out, then go appreciate them so much. The last batch of students them, because I teach them as an elective now, final honors to LLB 4, and I teach them na diploma 2 as introduction to intellectual property law. The then batch then they go out now, but then still want copy, and the incoming batches then feel say they go appreciate them very much, and I go get them out in mass production for meet up then batch of students in there.
Okay, so when we look the content, what's in the inside this book? Yeah?
The content very rich. It not only build up for lawyers, it also build up for students, academics, teachers, lecturers, and you get the foundational areas in the concept of intellectual property law, the historical background of intellectual property law. You get the international context. Then you get the historical context also of Sierra Leone intellectual property law, how they introduce them in colonial times, waiting at the laws then where they may pass, and how waiting at the impact within laws and they get, why we need the modern intellectual property law, the reformed intellectual property law. We crystallize into the Copyright Act of 2011, the Trademark Patent and Industrial Design Act of 2012, and the Trademark Act of 2014. We are the most recent laws on intellectual property law in Sierra Leone.
Okay, so person you don't briefly talk about the thing they way and they decided. But when we look at the historical aspects, so Fambu Lengua know, because this one back it's about the law and they can educate, even though they talk about the book, but they can educate people about intellectual property copyright, trademark, etc., etc. But when we look at the when we look at the historical aspect, just give me brief history how this thing can as saloon.
Yes, like I don't say earlier, intellectual property law can as Sierra Leone during colonial times. Now the which man them bring and come, and we been get different ordinances, the copyright ordinance, the merchandise mark ordinance. We don't transform into the trademark ordinance. There will be get patent and industrial design ordinance. Then volume 4 of the laws of Sierra Leone of 1960. Then laws then there is an area then in my book where I critique then laws then they say them been passed them for the British business people them we be in this salon, we be the count. You know, say one of the objective of the colonization of them West African, them countries in Africa, now for business, now for trade. So most of the companies then would have been set up, they be one for patent and trademark them, and also for getting copyrights now, so then we will do business freely. Like we been get a historical company like Patterson Zokonis, what they call PZ right now. We also been getting a United Africa company where we they buy things then then they carry and go raw materials, go turn them into finished product and bring them back in Africa for sale. So now based on that, they been getting laws in the, and some of them laws in the, one of the deficiency of them law and the, one of the shortcomings of them law and the, if you want to get a trademark, now England you go get for go register them. We one of the main reason we affect trademark copyright, intellectual property development in Sierra Leone. We if you not register you copyright in England, then it's not legal in Sierra Leone. And the ripple effect of that kind of law then the not to everybody we they in intellectual property creation been getting kind of money then they either by ship or by plane for travel, go England, and for all the requisite fee for register you intellectual property rights in England for make it can be applicable in Sierra Leone. So now one of the key problems that they will affect we for more than 100 years, more than 200 years even, because the legislation and they come up, the ordinances and they come up in the in the 1800s up to 1900s. So the first intellectual property law we can as Sierra Leone now the 1965 Copyright Act, when are the first legislation we passed by then the House of Representatives in Sierra Leone. That are one of the first post-independent laws then where we get under copyright. But even at that, it not been too strong. And also one of the area we affect with copyright laws then it not be attuned to international law. In other words, you know, Sierra Leone na be a colony, na be an appendage to the British Empire. So they not be the think about Sierra Leone as an independent country for enter into international treaties with the international system or the international community. So one of the things that we affect with international, with Copyright Act, was that now waiting Britain once now they did it, not to waiting the world be they say then on intellectual property law. So briefly now the historical background and the
Okay, so before we come to the international context, when we look at you don't talk about copyright. Waiting na copyright.
copyright now cultural goods. In other words, waiting you they do na your country. If you're a writer, you the write story. If you the write poem, if you're a stand-up comedian, you know, so many things. And if you're a choreographer, you like India, so then get choreography company, then when a dance company, them, you know, say then get Bollywood. So now booming industry in India. Then we will be the carp, we will be the get them variety shows, we will be the see people and they do choreography, then they mime, then they dance, then they perform people and songs, all na part of the cultural goods. When I be the come, I dey listen 98.1, I be dey listen to where I be dey talk about this program where they come in November, organized by the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, where then they talk about say busy signal get for camp. All of these are cultural activities. We get with dance troupe them, national dance troupe. We get free tone players, we sing a cappella. All of these are part of the cultural goods them way we get naturally. We get with musicians them. The music them where they sing, where then they sell out, na all na part of the cultural goods. So them protected by copyright. In other words, where you get you goods where you produce, if na music now, now you no more forget that music day. And one way then they protect, especially musicians, where then they protect these the music. Most times if you listen to salon music, the intro, then they mention the name day. Like Emerson, so you go say Emerson, immediately you don't know say na Emerson in song that day. So even if you not go register that song or that album day with the registrar general in office, as you hear the song, you hear in voice, the way they sing, you don't know say na Emerson. That is the protection of your own cultural goods. And if somebody they use that song they for make money out of them without they not reach them, it can amount to infringement. Or even if you amount to infringement, you go ask for what they call royalty. They for pay you for way they use in song, as long as not for commercial purpose, not for domestic. You didn't you owe you player. If you advertise something on a sound car, you use Emerson in music. Once not for commercial purpose, you for pay a royalty. Not to in all cases you ask the producer of a particular cultural goods, not all time they ask him for permission. But once he able to monitor you, say now so aspect you they using the song for, you for pay for it.
So this is very, very serious because one time in the we get some discussions that them artists that way they play them songs them like who they play naya they say we supposed to pay them. Also we can do the advertisement where then they push the music this small, then the voice come under. So then one day we supposed to pay for them.
Well, yes, if I put them generally, yes. But we did take the context into consideration. The context now that one, from whose perspective the song they be played. First of all, 98.1, I go say on a commercial radio station. But on I don't take some role now like a national radio station. When they do things them announcements, obituary, where traditional radio where we been small, then thing and then SLBS now SLBCB they do. So when I don't accept the role of a commercial radio station, and the music aspect, not a commercial aspect, because if you not play music, then all the announcements that they do, people know they be attracted to them. So the music now for draw people, letting they listen on the radio. Although I get important news and other important announcements, they won't get forget at the end of the day. So technically, on a fall under commercial, and all the things they want to do now under commercial. Yes, the Copyright Act 2011 make provision for royalties to be paid. As I say, not to, in all cases where they use somebody in music, you for seek in permission. But at the end of the day, if you get a system for monitor, for instance, let's just say now 10 cents per airing of a song. If we air in song for 10 times for a day, now 100 million Sunday. That money they owner for the keep them aside. If he get away from monitoring, because the major issue now for monitor the song. But the law also make provision say not to individual musicians for the monitor each and every song. The law make provision for what they call a collecting society of Sierra Leone. That collecting society, now then for the monitor, the production or the performing of artists, the music, and collate and probably write to 98.1c by so when I don't play MRC in music for the month for 20 times, different music then. And this now on a bill, on a pay. Them money then they get a percentage they go to the organization, when are the collecting society, then percentage they go to the artist in self.
So what about nightclubs?
Nightclubs in very clear because on I own 98.1, yes, na commercial radio station, but maybe some area go they wanna go able advance on arguments, say one on they promote the artist back and all of that, on they make them popular. But even at that one are entitled for pay. Nightclub, in very clear, nightclubs, cinemas, bars, any entertainment spot where they play music for attract custom than its customers, then for pay royalty to the artists, the music then within they play. That is specifically stated in the Copyright Act 2011.
Well, the problem we don't the problem and the way artists they don't say that in the pirates then songs plenty one and them they pray for them kind law they are.
Yeah.
But you feel say with this copyright, it will actually try for solve that problem.
Technology honestly make it difficult for solve the problem. The law is very good. The law, the Copyright Act, the Patent and Industrial Design Act, and the Trademark Act, they are very good. They are up to standard. The government tried aside. But as I say, technology make them very difficult for police. Then thing then the firstly the social media. Now one. Then two, I can remember when I did the research my LLM thesis, I talked to musicians across Sierra Leone, across the spectrum. Then self can contribute to the piracy of the music. Now then go save the music now stick, or then put on WhatsApp. You go give DJ. You don't know waiting that DJ intention. I know they say, I know they cast as passion to DJs, but when you give out your song, it's very difficult for no waiting the other person intention. So you self can anxious, you the musician, you the anxious for get a feel of your song. You go send them, say drop them na station for me. Go they drop them anytime. Let people then they listen and let them get a feel. Then through that, maybe the DJ self go and get other person opinion. You know, go just a play them no more. You go and get other person opinion, and send them to other person. And you say not to that one DJ they send them to you the musician. You go spread them. So you not go know other people them intention. Some few artists then the way you hardly hear it and they complain about piracy. Emerson one, you hardly see in music they sell. You hardly see a hard copy on CD. Most people then they rip or burn, not the word. Yes, most yes. If they get the hard copy CD, then they use a computer with software way applicable to that. Then rip them, then they multiply them, then they begin selling them. Then they give them about them for selling on street. Now the problem had for curtail the enforcement aspect. Now the Office of the Administrator and Registrar General for Kainsa, because the law gives them power for conduct search, spontaneous search. If they know, say, if there is a complaint, say this store or this shop, then get computer back na the back within the bonding thing or then the rip them. Once you get implement electronic device system with a multiply music, and then see evidence say they multiply them, where not to the original owner in city or whatever, a difficult, a liable for infringement, and he can bring them before the court, criminally as well as civil. But the law day now the implementation, the policing, we need for, as I say, there is knowledge gap. The police need for be trained in that. OARG, then they do a lot with regards to the training of their staff. With the trained students they now, let them be aware, and they all get for kind of the field. But the knowledge gap we get for the field, and to how for implement the practical implementation of the law from the books that come to life in practical reality.
Okay, the voice we they listen to na Julius Kofi, Honorable, we na a private legal practitioner, where he talk about in book where he write, where na intellectual property
law
in Sierra Leone. Now he talk about that book there, how the book important. But when we come, we go for break. When we come, we go look at the trademark, the patents, and we go also look at the international context. Then we open the phone line. But by the time we go come on here, they go tell you now if you want the book, we say you go buy them, waiting at the cost and all that things. And so now we go for music break. When we come back, we will continue the program.
Country slow, we want for no. Why not they grow? Yeah, hey, bo, we want for no. We want for no. Betty make we country they go slow. Betty make it all they grow. Yes, so I can for sure. Yes, I can for sure them thing them way they make we know they grow. Say now we they like one. If I they try for go before, I beg bo. Do ya not make us slow? No. If I try for raise the tempo, do ya not make am low? Yes, so. If I try for go before, I beg bo. Do ya not make us slow? No. If I try for raise the tempo, do ya not make am low? Yes, so before they do them thing now we go make we gladdy, thing now we go make we happy, thing now we go make we country laddie daddy. So we go live in unity. Yes, so before they do them thing now we go make we gladdy, thing now we go make we happy, thing now we go make we country laddie daddy. So we go live in harmony. Yes, so. Don't we for do them thing now we go make we smarter, thing now we go make we stronger, thing now we go make we nation last much longer. So we life them go better. Yes, so. Cause we for left them thing now we go make we scatter, thing now we go bring palava, thing now we go make we nation well panambara, make we people scatter.
This kind of thing you talk about.
Thing them like half a flavor blabber, political party wahala. Thing them we go make we agba, them put we country pan yakba. Sing along say hey bo, we want for no.
Yes, Fambul, welcome back to the program. Court host really can't to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. I hope say when I don't enjoy that music today, we not team them, we Wahid do for we inside the program. So we continue with the program, and we still get Honorable Julius Kofi. We they talk about in book, we do. We get plenty team them inside it. We talk about. And before we can open the phone line, but before we open the phone line, more we look more touch small pan trademark. What's in a trademark?
Trademark na brand. You waiting you take as you commercial brand. Like 98.1 a household name na the commercial brand for this radio station. You name self Mange Mansari na your brand, na your personal brand. If you want for trademark am, you can trademark am, but it depends if na you no more get that name the Mange Mansari. If you know unique to you, then let me name so Julius Nai Kofi. Now I can tell you say for the Nai Kofi na me one green get an a salon. So if I want brand them, I can use them, I register them as a trademark. So trademark now waiting you they use by your own goods the way you dey sell. Trademark na commercial activity. Intellectual property law or intellectual property na the idea within na you aid. Where you put down a paper as a concept, then you use them for commerce, you goods and services the way they produce. Like me, Chambers name na Julius Kofi and Co. Ajwa Chambers na me brand name dande na me trademark, and I can register them if I want. But when you trade in your name, you don't necessarily need for register as a trademark. But when you trademark in other things, then Bokutin and then Sierra Leone, we like Saba na soap, na the brand, na the trademark, then we get what they call brand ambassadorship. When are you as a human being, your personal branding, you go only trademark yourself as a brand, like if you're not a celebrity, and people they want to use you for commercial purpose. In other words, your reputation as a brand. You go see organization or business entity, then they organize a program, then they want popular people then for go there. Now, either they pay you appearance fee, or then they use your image, then call an image rights as a brand for promote them business. If they get a brand where they want to promote, they use a popular person when a celebrity for appear there for promote their brand, because probably if you brand a new brand where nobody knows sabi, you trademark a new something where somebody knows sabi. If you get a celebrity go there, then everybody want for go there for go see waiting at that brand day and waiting at the commercial value of that brand day. So basically in a trademark where you get a particular mark. Your mark can be your name, it can be color, it can be figure. Like the brand name for Sierra Leone, Sierra Leone. The color, when are the brand for Sierra Leone, green, white, and blue. You don't understand. So now that is not trademark. And trademark.
So when we look at this logo, this 98.1. So under which category we put up?
98.1
the logo, this logo, yeah.
The
logo, yes.
The mic.
Yes. Yeah, this logo is here. As you see, because all 98.1 there, what did they do? They put Sunday.
Yes.
So now what's in Andy?
Na image. Na image we na a mic, and then the background of Sierra Leone map with something like green, white, and blue. With regards to the mic, not to any unique something, any radio or TV or probably a DJ can use a mic as a logo, but the way una design them, the color and everything, now you make on your own unique. Then una accompany them with the numbers 98.1 FM when they show the difference, the distinction. Because when you get a trademark for commercial purpose, it will be distinct from another one. And I should say the side one they register with NATCA. If na NATCA one they register with, no other radio station not they go register 98.1 because already it in existence. Just like if you want to register a company, you gonna.
So they don't give the frequency to other person.
No, they need exactly. Okay.
So more look at patents.
Patents na invention. Waiting you they create and you aid in practical reality. For instance, if you make a computer where let we assume say soft touch screen. No, the say na hard keyboard we been get first. Now you dey get soft touch computer keyboard. Wey na you screen you dey use, you type. Let's assume say not been there. You add that day as a value to computer. Then an invention. Anything where you create. This Wonder Stove, when we own local, produce goods, Benny Mix, then thing and then invention. Invention is something where we not ever exist before. Somebody create them. And when you create them, you go register them. You are the first way go register because two people coincidentally can think the same way. So if you create your own, you go register them, then somebody also create the same thing independent of your own. That is not being see your own, to create something like that nature. And go for go register. And once you own, we don't register, then go tell and say, hey, this product, it don't register.
So patent you need for register?
You need for register, absolutely. Patent and trademark, they need for be registered. If you not register, you patent. If you not register, you trademark. Somebody creates something out of it, and they go register. Trademark, certain trademark, they were protected by common law, where you don't necessarily need for register.
The one so you will continue the explanation. The full line door open now. You can call and ask question, or you want for nobody book, which you want for. So you can call now and make contribution to the program. The number now 077-981-981, 077-981-981. The full line door open now. You can call and make your contribution or ask question to waiting with the discuss. So the full line door open. The text messages, you can say text message again to the same number 077-981-981. 077-981-981. The phone line door open. So yes, you really explain something.
Yes, you question that whether trademark and copyright patent can be registered. Yes, the general rule is that them for register. If you not register them, somebody go independently develop your trademark or your patent, then that person did get priority. The exception with regards to trademark is that trademark at common law can be protected without register. That is, everybody within that business community for don't know say now you get a trademark day. Everybody within that business community, then for don't know say now you get a trademark day, and that trademark day attached to certain goods and services where you produce. And then circumstances and an exception where your trademark can be protected without registration. But for let you trademark without get any issue, where you develop your trademark, apply to the Office of the Administrator and Registrar General for register. So where you register them, you're protected. And you get right for challenge anybody who develop your trademark after we don't register them.
Yeah, so we don't look at the content where they inside this book. So when we look at some specifics now, where we talk about this book. So why students therefore buy them?
Yeah. First of all, intellectual property law in a gray area in Sierra Leone. In a sense, the term where we been the study law, not to be a full-blown module like how it be so. So even with we lawyers, now we would in practice with the learner. So students now then get the opportunity for learn intellectual property law at school level. Like I say, it get the foundational area we cover all the areas that we not learn at Sierra Leone: copyright, trademark, patent and industrial design. Other areas in the traditional medicine and all. But we not get laws them for protect the NIA except through international law. So students now they get the foundational knowledge about intellectual property law before they come into practice. So it's very good for them for get them. And even lawyers now, the lawyers then when issues of that nature come up, and gradually the awareness around intellectual property law they grow, and people maybe with common knowledge know say them for protect them creations, then for protect waiting they don't develop for themselves are the only way they go commercialize them, monetize them, and make money. So if you now an entertainer, you know say you bread and butter, now waiting you content where you put out there. So we don't see like the conflict I don't mention the song Money Necessary and the fury we been create around that, and we see how the social media being go overdrive on their issue then they. So now a way for let people then get the awareness say where you create something for protect them because now they know you bread and butter and they survive. So at the end of the day, if there is conflict, the first person will you the creator defend a lawyer for advise you waiting for do either for write the person a warning or straight if you get direct evidence you will court. So lawyers them eventually it will be them bread and butter. In developed countries, intellectual property law na multi-billion dollars business. I will give the example of Taylor Swift. A couple of years back, a gap one day no more. He said they increase the cost for stream in music then. By then, I think it was 10 cents. It raised up to 25 cents. The international, the streaming platforms them being go overdrive, say Taylor Swift this, that. It look like say na money in the look for. He say yes, na money are they look for. So if you want record you the stream am for 25 cents, then 1 billion people around the world they stream forget for listen to your music for one day. Imagine now so them creators, entertainers overseas they make then a multi-million dollars. We self need for put them protection then together inside we countries them. It create job for the entertainers, it create job for the lawyers, it creates job, it diversify the economy, it create jobs for people. People they make job for themselves. You know, if you don't get you idea where they put out there, you know, say they make money, you know they go find job again. You they saturate yourself on what you do. So really, the students nowadays and feel for develop themselves. Who knows tomorrow? Intellectual property rights issues will grow past how it is so, and people go to seek legal advice all the time.
So how often then they can cow? Like, are you now legal practitioner going over 20 or 21 years? So how you see how you in terms of assessment, how people in the take them matter than in our court, how people in the take them serious?
In fact, now one area of my book, some of the challenges we IP rights they face. You know how people they seek legal advice, how people they seek solicitors intervention, not to by person when are an expert in the field. We based on we culture in Sierra Leone, people they look for lawyer based on connections. What I mean, like you paddy or you fumble. And the way Sierra Leone they produce lawyers now, like over 200 every year, it go reach a time every host or every 2-3 hosts you go get one lawyer a day. So the way people they seek solicitors, not to by experience and not to how I mean the ordinary people on the streets, the few percentage they seek lawyer by experience. People they seek lawyer by how they don't train a practice and their knowledge of the law. But sadly not so in Sierra Leone. People know them for pay because they say lawyer they beaucoup. I mean, people know them for pay because they say lawyer they're expensive. So then they look for the easiest opportunity. They know they look for lawyer where they feel say go deliver up to for them. So these are some of the challenges we they face out there.
So this book here, if he post in one time, how a Google forgetter?
We the complete mass production this month of August. We go identify certain bookshops them. We will go put her out. But immediately after production, we go advertise them. Person go meet me na my chambers na 53 Circular Road. Possibly the book could go out for 1,000 per copy, and anybody who interested could go na Adjoa Chambers, Julius Coffee and Co., 53 Circular Road, and get a copy at any time.
So
in the day.
you just they come into this business. People and they say Saloma not the right. But from which you don't begin to so, is it lucrative?
If you motivation are the lucrative nature, then you know go right. Yes, we're hanging in there. No matter what, we shall get for be academically independent from a legal perspective, from the lawyer's point of view, from colonial days to nowadays. Most of the books that we would use are English books. Then. Like I say, if you hold this book, Intellectual Property Law in Sierra Leone, Law, Practice, and the Future of Trade and Investment, it totally customized for Sierra Leone. We look at issues, the constitutional right to property, then they debate the constitution right now. Sadly, the right to property not capture intellectual property expressly as property, then just put it under the general characteristics of property. We not too okay. So there are issues around the book we very good, and it will push the book forward.
Okay. As we dey come to as we can conclude now, and more we look at probably these ones before we close, the international context.
Yeah, Sierra Leone they try. Like quite recently, Sierra Leone adopt the Parliament of Sierra Leone don't ratify some international treaties. Them we first of all one day we criminalize. If you go watch a concert, you do video without the permission of the performer, they criminalize that. It's important because let us they put out somebody else in content out there as if na your own content. Then one. Then one area where I capture inside the book, we especially the event planners. Somebody they plan an event, he snap a post on a Facebook. Other person with an event planner, and they go copy then they put it on their own page. So you see subtle way the people and they steal people initiatives where all of them here, not only international law, Sierra Leone law protects them. And international law they protect not only you intellectual property rights within your country. For instance, if your music go out in Guinea, it go out in Liberia, when we neighbors, it's supposed to be protected as long as they are all parties to the same treaty. Well, we get the Office of the Administrator General where they protect copyrights and intellectual property rights in Sierra Leone. Then get the equivalent now all over the other countries there. And based on international law, for protect the works of foreigners where they go in their country. Like how we say for protect their own. And the bad thing is that if you not protect foreigners their own, where you work good in their own country, they not protect them. So there is this reciprocal treatment of at the international level of people and their intellectual property rights.
Because we look Salone and the pirates in Nigeria music them beaucoup.
I agree. Enforcement na a problem. And I think the government need for take up that aspect very strongly.
So we don't start. So you get another plan for write other book.
Yes, even this very book, the one way this will go be the first edition because intellectual property law, I think they grow every day, and you get for update this one by bringing out the second edition. That is, any development will happen since the writing of this book will go capture them. I intend to look at other areas of the law back again, not to intellectual property law no more.
Okay, plenty thank you where you actually join me in this program in name na Julius, Honorable Julius Coffee, where he can talk about in book, where na intellectual intellectual property law in Sierra Leone. Now the book that they we write, and now one of the few Salone people them way they write, and then they encourage we as Sierra Leoneans for the right, but now once person we don't take the venture for doing. Plenty thank you we join on this program.
Thank you.
Plenty thank you to my producer Theodore Arena, and the one we help put this program together with Fatu Bagba, and Jaffa Man Davis make you see we live on Facebook. DJ Caps behind the machine. Me we present the program. My name na Mange Mansari. Stay tuned for another edition next week. We at the same time from 5 to 6 o'clock. Until next week, my name is Mange Mansari. Bye bye.